Have you ever taken a moment to reflect on the person Allah has carefully prepared for you? This idea may seem both wondrous and mysterious, but in the life of a believer, it is profoundly real. Every encounter, every path we cross, every moment of our existence can be a thread woven by Allah into the great divine plan. And marriage is one of the most beautiful examples. The concept of predestination, or qadr, in Islam reminds us that nothing in this world happens by chance. Everything from the breath we take to the person we will one day meet is arranged according to Allah's infinite wisdom. Marriage is not simply a social or legal commitment. It is a spiritual act, a shared journey toward Allah's pleasure and a life of mutual support, personal growth, and inner peace. Allah promises that when two hearts are guided by Him, their union becomes a source of blessing not only for themselves, but for their families and for society as a whole. Yet, it's natural to wonder, how do we know that the person we meet is the one Allah has intended for us? How can we recognize that moment when the veil lifts and we glimpse divine light through our future spouse? In this video, we will explore those sublime and subtle moments, those silent signs and feelings that manifest when Allah's plan begins to reveal itself in our love life. We will discuss the spiritual clues that appear long before the physical encounter, the qualities you will instantly recognize in that unique person, and the inner transformation you will experience even before meeting them. You will discover how patience, faith, and prayer play a crucial role in aligning your heart with the destiny Allah has planned for you. Prepare to dive into a deep reflection on the beauty of divine guidance in marriage, to understand how Allah's light can illuminate your path to your future spouse, and to feel that every challenge and expectation is part of this perfect plan. Because when Allah decides to reveal your future partner, it is not simply an encounter. It is a blessing that transforms your life and brings your hearts closer to Him. 1. The beauty of divine guidance. Allah's guidance is a subtle, invisible, yet powerful light that guides every believer toward what is truly good for them. It can manifest in 1,000 ways, often through signs we don't immediately perceive. In the context of marriage, this guidance takes a unique and wonderful form. Allah can direct our steps toward our future spouse through direct or indirect means. An inspiring dream, a profound intuition, a blessed encounter that seems fortuitous but was always planned by the Creator. These moments are never simply coincidences. They are clues to a meticulously woven divine plan for our happiness and spiritual well-being. Often, divine guidance manifests itself in moments when we learn to be patient and trust. We may feel impatience or frustration, especially when marriage seems distant or impossible. However, Allah's wisdom exceeds our human comprehension. What we imagine for our lives, our dreams and our expectations are often limited by our earthly perspective. Allah, with His infinite knowledge, knows what will suit us perfectly and bring us lasting peace. He thus teaches us to relinquish control and turn to Him with faith and humility. There are many inspiring stories and anecdotes that illustrate this divine guidance. For example, in Islamic tradition, there are stories of believers who, after years of searching and sincere prayer, met their future spouse unexpectedly, often through blessed encounters arranged by loved ones or through fortuitous events orchestrated by Allah. These stories show that even when a path seems uncertain, Allah always prepares the best way for His servants. Sometimes, guidance appears through a series of small blessings. A conversation that enlightens the heart, advice from a relative or friend, a subtle sign in a dream, or a persistent intuition that compels one to act or wait. The beauty of this guidance is that it transforms not only the future marriage, but also the believer themselves. It teaches patience, perseverance, and complete trust in the divine plan. It shows us that love and relationships when placed under the light of Allah, become much more than emotional bonds. They become instruments of spiritual growth and a closer connection to the Creator. Thus, even before meeting our future spouse, we can feel this divine guidance, this inner serenity that reminds us that nothing happens by chance, and that every step brings us closer to the person Allah has intended for us. Ultimately, Allah's guidance is a promise of light and blessing. It shows us that patience, faith, and an open heart are the keys to receiving what the Creator has prepared. When we begin to recognize and follow this guidance, we open ourselves to the beauty of destiny, the wonder of blessed encounters, and the certainty that true love, when guided by Allah, surpasses all human imagination. 2. The moment of encounter. The moment when Allah reveals your future spouse is often described as a unique moment, both spiritual and emotional. It is not simply a physical encounter, but a profound inner awakening, where the heart immediately recognizes what was always destined. When you see this person for the first time, there may be what many describe as a feeling of inner recognition. It is a subtle but powerful sensation, a whisper from the soul that says, "This is him, her." It is not a rational decision, nor a choice based on appearances or circumstances. It is an inner certainty that surpasses all human explanation. This recognition is accompanied by a profound amazement at Allah's blessings. You realize that every moment of waiting, every sincere prayer, and every moment of patience have led you to this encounter. Your heart is filled with gratitude and amazement. The precision and perfection of divine guidance become palpable. You understand that this union is not the result of chance, but the result of a perfectly orchestrated divine plan. The light of Allah illuminates every detail, from the first interaction to the subtle signs that preceded the encounter. In this moment, joy, peace, and gratitude mingle. Joy is born from the realization that divine destiny is being fulfilled before your eyes. Peace resides in the certainty that this relationship was chosen by Allah, and that you are on the path He has laid out for you. Gratitude, on the other hand, manifests itself naturally, for every prayer answered, for every trial that has prepared your heart, and for the wonder of this encounter that exceeds your expectations. These emotions are not merely felt superficially. They permeate the soul and create a deep connection from the first glance, a feeling of fulfillment and spiritual alignment. The beginning of this relationship is in the light and divine guidance. From the very first exchanges, you notice that communication is harmonious, that values and intentions are aligned, and that each interaction reflects respect and sincerity. There is a natural balance in the relationship, a fluidity that suggests that every gesture and every word is guided by Allah. The relationship does not begin with illusions or fleeting desires, but on a solid foundation of faith, mutual respect, and spiritual understanding. This moment is also a reminder that human life functions according to God's plan. Everything that preceded the meeting, the trials, the moments of solitude, the decisions, and the prayers, was part of careful preparation orchestrated by Allah. This meeting then becomes a culmination of a journey of personal and spiritual growth, where the believer recognizes divine wisdom in every detail of their life. Thus, the moment of meeting your future spouse is much more than mere chance or coincidence. It is a sacred moment, a tangible confirmation of Allah's guidance, where inner certainty, gratitude, and wonder combine to create the beginning of a blessed relationship. In this light, every future step of the relationship is already protected and guided, providing a framework of love, peace, and mutual support that is in line with divine will. 3. Signs that your future spouse is near. On the journey toward a blessed marriage, there comes a time when certain subtle signs begin to appear, indicating that the meeting with your future spouse is approaching. These signs are not always obvious at first glance, as they often manifest in inner peace, coincidences, and the subtle guidance of Allah. Believers learn to recognize these clues, distinguish them from mere desires or illusions, and prepare themselves spiritually to welcome the blessing when it presents itself. One of the first signs is a deep sense of inner peace or a predisposition towards someone. You may notice that, for no apparent reason, certain faces, people, or situations arouse a particular calm in you. This feeling goes beyond physical attraction or curiosity. It is a tranquility of the heart that reflects a budding spiritual connection. This sensation, though intangible, is often accompanied by a persistent intuition that prompts you to think of that person positively, without any worry or stress. This is Allah's way of preparing the inner ground of His servants before the physical encounter. Blessed coincidences are another sign that a future spouse is approaching. These are not mere coincidences, but moments orchestrated by Allah to align your path with that of your future partner. You might, for example, meet someone in a completely unexpected context, or witness a seemingly insignificant event that opens the door to a meaningful encounter. These moments are often accompanied by a feeling of silent gratitude, as if your heart already knew this moment was meant to be. These coincidences are subtle reminders that divine providence is at work and that Allah's plan is perfect. The advice of loved ones can also be instruments of divine guidance. Parents, friends, or mentors can sometimes notice qualities in a person that escape your attention, or encourage encounters that seem insignificant but turn out to be essential. These recommendations should not be ignored. In Islam, the wise advice of those who love and know as well can be vehicles of divine wisdom. Allah uses these channels to guide us, sometimes more clearly than we ourselves perceive. The importance of prayer or dua cannot be underestimated in this process. Asking Allah for guidance with sincerity, patience, and perseverance is a way to open our heart and mind to His will. Prayers do not simply request a meeting. They prepare us internally to receive the person the Creator has intended for us. They cultivate patience, faith, and trust, while allowing us to recognize the signs as they appear. Each sincere dua is a step towards the light that will reveal your future spouse. To illustrate these signs, imagine the story of a young believer who, after several years of waiting and prayer, begins to notice small details in his daily life. He feels a particular calm when he thinks about certain people, frequently finds himself in situations where he meets compassionate and compatible individuals, and receives encouragement from his mentors to participate in seemingly random social activities. Each element, taken in isolation, might seem trivial, but together they form a clear path guided by Allah. Ultimately, the encounter occurs naturally, with a sense of peace and gratitude that confirms that each preceding step was part of the divine plan. These signs, whether emotional, spiritual, or circumstantial, are all manifestations of Allah's light in our lives. They remind us that marriage, when blessed by divine guidance, is much more than a simple human union. It is an encounter orchestrated by the Creator, where heart, soul, and destiny come together to form a relationship of peace, growth, and blessing. Learning to recognize these signs and align with them is an essential step in welcoming our future spouse with gratitude, faith, and serenity. 4. Quality you will recognize. As Allah begins to reveal your future spouse, it gradually becomes clear that certain exceptional qualities distinguish this person from others. These qualities are not limited to appearance or outward accomplishments. They touch the soul, the heart, and spiritual compatibility. The first thing you will often notice is piety and Allah consciousness. This person does not merely seek to follow the rules of Islam on the surface, but embodies divine values in their words, actions, and manner of interacting with the world. Piety is manifested in respect for prayers, in sincerity of heart, but above all, in kindness and humility towards others. It is a light that attracts, not through vanity, but through authenticity and integrity. Kindness and respect are also remarkable and recognizable qualities. When you are in this person's presence, you feel warmth and sincere consideration in every gesture and word. He or she listens to you attentively, cares about your needs, and displays thoughtful behavior that inspires trust and serenity. This natural gentleness doesn't mean weakness. On the contrary, it reflects an inner strength and emotional maturity that allow for a healthy and lasting relationship. Value compatibility is another key sign. Unlike relationships where you simply seek superficial affinity, the future spouse Allah has prepared shares similar principles, goals, and outlook on life. This compatibility isn't limited to preferences or tastes, but extends to how you perceive the world and prioritize faith, family, and social responsibilities. You will immediately recognize that your paths, aspirations, and values are in harmony, and this alignment becomes the solid foundation of your relationship. Beyond intellectual or moral compatibility, you will experience a unique spiritual and emotional chemistry. This alchemy goes beyond physical attraction or mere affection. It's a deep connection between two hearts that seem to understand each other without words, that feel peace in each other's presence, and that find mutual support in times of joy and hardship alike. You perceive this relationship as something greater than yourself, like a perfect alignment orchestrated by Allah. The feeling of comfort, security, and inner peace is another powerful indicator. When you are with this person, there's no doubt or unnecessary tension. On the contrary, you experience an immediate calm, as if your heart has finally found its place. This isn't a passing euphoria or mere infatuation, but a lasting tranquility that reflects divine blessing. This sense of serenity becomes the common thread of the relationship and allows you to face life's challenges together with confidence and patience. It's natural to compare this encounter with what you were previously seeking. You will quickly realize that your initial expectations, based on superficial desires or limited ideals, were narrow compared to what Allah has prepared for you. Your future partner often exceeds your expectations. Where you looked for someone compatible on paper, Allah offers you someone who nourishes your soul, elevates your faith, and transforms your heart. This realization strengthens gratitude, patience, and humility, as it reminds you that God's plan is always better than your own. Finally, recognizing these qualities isn't just a matter of observation. It's felt in your intuition and your heart. You know, without doubt or confusion, that this person is a gift from Allah, a support for your spiritual and emotional journey. Every interaction, every gesture, and every word reinforces this certainty. The beauty of this recognition is that it doesn't depend on human perfection. The future partner is human, with strengths and imperfections, but their spiritual light and intrinsic qualities highlight what is truly important. So when Allah reveals your future spouse, you don't just see someone you're drawn to. You see a heart aligned with yours, a soul that complements yours, and a life partner chosen to guide you toward peace, patience, and closeness to Allah. The qualities you'll recognize are reflections of His wisdom, mercy, and perfect plan, showing you that true love, when guided by Allah, transcends all human expectations and becomes a path to light and serenity. 5. Personal transformation before the encounter. Before your future partner appears in your life, Allah often initiates a process of personal transformation. This preparation is not a mere coincidence, but a subtle and divinely orchestrated process of the heart and soul. Trials, challenges, and moments of solitude serve to cultivate essential qualities such as patience, humility, and resilience. Through these experiences, the believer learns to know himself deeply, understand his strengths and weaknesses, and develop the emotional maturity that will be essential for building a healthy and lasting relationship. Patience is one of the most important aspects of this transformation. Waiting for the person Allah has destined takes time and sometimes frustration, but it is precisely this time that allows the heart to mature. Each wait becomes an opportunity to learn to trust divine wisdom and accept that Allah's timing is perfect. Patience forges a heart capable of handling conflicts gently, supporting a partner through difficult times, and maintaining serenity when unforeseen circumstances arise. Humility and forgiveness are also qualities developed during the preparation process. By undergoing varied life experiences, the believer learns to recognize their mistakes, ask for forgiveness when necessary, and grant forgiveness to others. This ability to let go of the ego and treat others with respect and understanding is essential for a harmonious marital relationship. It prepares the heart to welcome a partner not as a perfect ideal, but as a human being with their strengths and imperfections, and to build a home together based on compassion and tolerance. Prayer and self-reflection play a central role in this transformation. By praying sincerely and drawing closer to Allah, the believer purifies their heart, clarifies their intentions, and prepares to welcome their future spouse with gratitude and awareness. Self-reflection allows one to better understand one's needs, limitations, and aspirations, while aligning one's heart with solid spiritual values. This inner preparation ensures that when the encounter occurs, it is with a clear mind and an open heart, capable of receiving and giving sincere love. Finally, this personal transformation has a direct impact on the quality of the future relationship. A heart prepared by Allah will be able to communicate kindly, resolve conflicts wisely, and nurture a lasting relationship based on mutual respect and shared faith. The future spouse thus becomes not only a life partner, but also a catalyst for spiritual and emotional growth, allowing each to progress together towards a harmonious life blessed by Allah. In summary, before the encounter, Allah shapes the believer through trials, patience, prayer, and reflection. This transformation ensures that the heart is ready to recognize the divine light in their future spouse, to welcome this blessing with gratitude, and to build a solid, balanced, and spiritually enriching relationship. As we come to the end of this journey of reflection, it is essential to remember the beauty and depth of the divine plan. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, orchestrates every stage of our lives with a precision and benevolence that we can often only perceive in hindsight. Every encounter, every trial, and every moment of patience is a subtle thread woven into the grand picture of our destiny. The arrival of your future spouse is never a coincidence. It is the concrete manifestation of this divine guidance. Recognizing this reality allows us to look at life with confidence, serenity, and gratitude, knowing that what is destined for us is perfect, even if our understanding is limited. Trusting in Allah is one of the central pillars of this path. It is natural to feel impatience or uncertainty about the future, but sincere faith reminds us that the Creator knows our needs better than we know ourselves. Placing our trust in Him means accepting that every delay, every trial, and every detour has a specific purpose: to prepare us, strengthen us, and align us with what is best for our souls. This trust does not mean passivity, but an active commitment to living according to His commandments, cultivating our character and exercising patience, knowing that the right time will arrive exactly as He intended. Patience, combined with faith, is another treasure we cultivate on this path. Waiting for the right moment to meet the person who will complete our spiritual and emotional lives may seem long, but this wait is an act of worship in itself. It teaches us self-control, control over fleeting desires, and appreciation of the value of time. Every prayer, every good deed, and every sincere effort during this time prepares our heart to welcome the encounter with a clear mind, an open soul, and a heart ready to receive the love and support this union will bring. It is also important to remember that meeting your future spouse is a true sign of divine mercy. Allah never leaves His servants without guidance or support. The light that reveals your future partner is tangible proof that divine guidance and love exist in every aspect of our lives. It reminds us that, even in our moments of loneliness or doubt, we are never abandoned. Every step of the way, every subtle sign, and every feeling of inner peace are reminders of this infinite benevolence, inviting us to remain grateful and attentive to His gifts. Finally, this reflection becomes a call to spiritual action. Sincere prayer, good deeds, and purification of the heart are not only ways of seeking Allah's guidance, but also of preparing the soul to recognize and welcome the gift of meeting. By cultivating patience, piety, gratitude, and kindness, we become partners capable of building a harmonious and blessed relationship. True love, when guided by Allah, transcends superficial desires and is part of a spiritual journey that enriches the soul, strengthens faith, and brings inner peace. In short, every aspect of this path, the waiting, the preparation, recognizing the signs, and the encounter itself, is proof that a believer's life is profoundly guided. Placing one's trust in Allah, acting with patience, and maintaining a pure heart are the keys to receiving this blessing with gratitude. May everyone remember that a future spouse, when brought by Allah, is not just a life companion, but a light that enriches the soul, inspires spiritual growth, and embodies the infinite mercy and wisdom of the Creator.